but our little son was abandoned. So these are two very different children. We've experienced that our son has rejection issues. Our daughter is very, very secure. So those are some of the issues that adoptive parents need to be taken through even after the adoption process is over.
So there is need for such a moral support kind of body.
Yes.
Does it exist?
It actually exists. At Child Welfare, we have adoptive parents meetings, and we recently came up with an association. It is actually registered. So we'll be drawing in parents who have adopted so that we have them come in and become members of the group. There are many benefits, like Pastor is talking about, in terms of psychosocial support. Then we also have an Adoptive Children's Association, which was registered a few weeks back. And
so even children can
yes.
Can actually come together.
Yes, that is an initiative of Child Welfare Society of Kenya, because we also feel that children have things in common that they may want to share among themselves. So we are encouraging parents to come and register, and so that we can have it running.
So the children, that the parents can register, and the children as well can register.
Yes.
All right. And this all sounds very tidy. But let me come to you again, Tom. And with all this, child trafficking going on and becoming very rife in our time, how does this adoption process? How is it, trafficking proof?
What we always say, and what is encouraged even from the African Charter, the Children's Act, we always say we give a premium to local adoption. We don't really encourage foreign adoption or international adoption, because we want to believe if we have a problem in this country, they always say, let us not really run to donors, let us not go west, let's try to come up with a homegrown solution to our problems. And what we always say, local adoption, it is supposed to follow the right procedure, the right channel.
But these traffickers, child traffickers, are very, very clever.
They are very clever.
What systems are there to make sure that this system is not beaten by those traffickers?
Right, right now we have good legal instruments. Like when we talk of the Hague Convention about the inter-country adoption, we follow it to the letter. When we talk of the UN Charter on Convention of the Rights of the UN Charter, UNCRC, the African Charter also, the Children's Act, they always try to promote local adoption, try to seal all those openings that can really encourage issues of child trafficking. So we try very much to work within the law to ensure that all the children, should there be adoption, it's not really for trafficking, but it's for the best interest of the child. Yeah.
All right.
And also in addition to that, we at Child Welfare, we are all trained social workers, and we also involve other legal experts and other professionals in different fields. Like he had mentioned in the case committee, there are various forms of professionals in it. So we are able to look at a need of a child holistically, so that we are able to, as much as we can, make sure that the child remains in the country and goes out through international adoption only as a last resort.
Okay. Now, when you are still at this, and we'll come to you in a short while, what are the rates? Because most of the times we see adoption is is more Western. What's the ratio of Western or foreign adoption to local adoption?
Okay, you could say a rough estimate, probably maybe 90 of Kenyans, the local population, are willing to adopt children.
Okay,
so it is actually quite high.
So the majority of adopters are local.
Yes,
right,
or the people who come forward with the intention to adopt are actually locals.
Local.
Yes,
that's I think that clears a lot of light that it is not. It demystifies the adoption not just as a foreign aspect concept, but really more as a local one. Now, Isaac, let's talk about emotions and how these children. You having adopted them, and them also knowing that you have adopted them. What are some emotional challenges that you sometimes face, either you see in them or you experience yourself?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the backgrounds of the two children are very different, and so we have had to relate with each child very differently, emotionally. We've had to take each child's needs, emotional needs, very, very particularly. For example, for Samuel, coming from a case where he was abandoned, he needs a lot of affirmation. He needs a lot of love. He needs to always, we have seen him trying to act out to be loved. And so we have been affirming him a lot. For Christine, it's very different. She's very carefully and very independent. So emotionally, I think, as we mentioned earlier, we need parents to have an access. Because emotionally, at some point, we have felt drawn out. We have felt dried up. But the fact that we are praying and the fact that we knew right from the beginning it was a choice we made, and we saw God through this whole process has made us stand up. But I know for many parents, they may be in a dilemma. They may not know where to turn to. And so that's why I appreciate this kind of forum and family media for bringing this issue up. And I hope that other houses will take up adoption as a very important topic, because many parents like me are out there struggling. They want to make a home for these beautiful children. They have challenges. They are trying to seek where they can get help, and they don't know where to get help. So I think knowing that there is such an association, as I have known today, and I know many parents are very happy to know.
You're able to gain
we are able
support.
to gain. We need a lot of support.
Okay,
Yes.
and it's good to know it's actually available, And let me ask, when it comes to one of the practices, one of the vices we have in our society today is abortion. Now, tell us, how does abortion and adoption, can they have any conversation?
Yeah, it's possible. As we know, the Constitution doesn't allow for abortion unless under special circumstances, for example, medical reasons and all that. But all the same, we look at it from a different perspective. This is a child who would have had a future. Like Pastor Isaac has explained, they have provided a family to a child who would have otherwise been probably aborted or something. So if we give them a chance to live, they will be able to be the best they can be, and we as a society will also gain from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would also want to know from you, Tom, I want a precise response on this one. What's the cost? What is the what if you were to in Kenya shillings? What is it? An estimate.
Should I say free? Absolutely free.
Oh, okay.
Because we've realized for some time that people try to keep off adoption because they say, like the word mentioned, they always say kununua mtoto. They feel like you cost like hundreds of thousands to get that child. They also believe like the legal process itself, hiring a lawyer maybe to represent you in court, it's very expensive. But as Child Welfare Society, as has been mentioned by my colleague Penelope, legal process, because they keep saying that to get a lawyer, it will cost you hundreds of thousands. We have come up with a program that we call self-representation. We call clients, because they are from different backgrounds. Maybe probably some are from as far as Samburu, they want to adopt. We call them and train them on how to present themselves at the High Court and probably get the adoption orders. We have also realized that adoption, people say that they cannot afford this money maybe that is charged by different adoption agencies. But again, as Child Welfare Society of Kenya, we say that adoption shall be free, no charges at all.
Okay.
Yes, and we should not peg that on saying it's only the will of parents who should adopt children. But anybody in this country, be it like you're a peasant farmer somewhere in Nyeri, or somewhere in these some corners of this country, you need to have that child. So we said we cannot really charge for you to get a child.
All right.
So,
Yes.
maybe to add on to that, the reason why that is the case is for us to encourage local adoptions, as we had said earlier. So
Okay.
parents or adoptive parents, when they come to apply for adoption, they're only charged a fee of 1,000 shillings for registration,
Yeah.
not for the process.
Okay.
So like Tom said, the process is actually free.
It's a free process.
Yes.
So this is very insightful, actually. Now, for this question, this is the last question. I would want a yes/no answer. Now, Isaac, would you adopt other children? Yes, no.
Yes, definitely.
That's good. Let me ask you also, Penelope Wanjiko, would you adopt a child?
Yes, I would.
And Tom, would you adopt a child?
Oh, definitely.
Viewers, just like Christ has adopted us to become his daughters and sons, let us open our hearts and also give these children a home. You've been watching Crosstalk. Have a good night.